In the heart of the dense African jungle, nestled within the vibrant community of Elele, lived a remarkable python named ODACHE. He was no ordinary serpent. He possessed an innate curiosity about the world beyond the emerald foliage of his home. ODACHE spent his days filtering through the underbrush, his sleek scales glittering under the warm sun, and his amber eyes ever observant of the creatures around him. Despite his serpentine form, ODACHE longed for more. He yearned to experience the world as the humans did, to walk upright and converse with the inhabitants of Elele. Little did he know that his deepest desires would soon be realized in the most unexpected way. One moonlight night, as ODACHE lay resting or coiled up under a large bamboo tree, he felt a strange sensation coursing through his body. It was as if a powerful magic had woven its way into his very essence, stirring something deep within him. And then, in a breathtaking transformation, ODACHE shed his scaly skins and emerged not as a python, but as a man. With newfound limbs and a human body, ODACHE stepped tentatively onto the forest floor, his senses ablaze with wonder. He marveled at the feel of the cool earth beneath his feet and the rush of air against his newly formed skin. But this transformation did not go unnoticed by the people of Elele. In the heart of the dense jungle that surrounded the village of Elele, there stood a majestic bamboo tree, its ancient roots anchoring itself firmly to the earth. It was beneath the sprouting branches of this tree that ODACHE in his human form often found solace and contemplation. The villagers of Elele had taken notice of this stranger who frequented the shadowy depths of the forest. Some whispered that he was lost, a wanderer from a distant land who had stumbled upon their village by chance. Others speculated that he was a spirit of the jungle, a guardian watching over the natural world with keen eyes. One day, a group of hunters from the village stumbled upon ODACHE as he sat beneath the towering bamboo tree, his gaze fixed on the shifting patterns of the light filtering through the canopy above. Concerned for his well-being, they approached him courteously, their footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of leaves that blanketed the forest floor. "Are you lost, stranger?" one of the hunters asked, his voice tingled with curiosity. ODACHE turned to regard them with keen eyes as deep as the endless expanse of the night sky. "Lost?" he mused, a hint of amusement dancing in his gaze. "No, my friends. I am not lost. I am simply seeking something that has long eluded me." Intrigued by his cryptic words, the hunters escorted ODACHE to the village, where they presented him to their king, a wise and benevolent ruler, who was revered by all who knew him. The king regarded ODACHE with keen interest, his eyes scanning the stranger's face for any trace of deception. "And what is it you seek, young man?" the king inquired, his voice resonating with authority. ODACHE bowed respectfully before the king, his movement graceful and fluid. "Your Majesty, I seek my long-lost parents," he replied, his voice steady and sure. "I have wandered far and wide in search of them, but thus far my efforts have been in vain." Moved by ODACHE's plight, the king took him into his household, offering him shelter and protection within the walls of his palace. And as ODACHE became a familiar presence within the village, whispers of his presence spread like wildfire through the villagers. Before long, the entire village had gathered to catch a glimpse of the handsome young man with skin that seemed to shimmer like liquid gold in the dapple sunlight. Women flocked to his side, their eyes alight with curiosity and desire, each vying for his attention and affection. But amidst the fervent pursuit of ODACHE's affection, one woman stood out from the rest. Her name was Nkiru, a vision of beauty with eyes that sparkled like the stars above. From the moment she laid eyes on ODACHE, she knew that he was unlike any man she had ever known. Intrigued by Nkiru's quiet and unwavering devotion, ODACHE found himself drawn to her in return. They shared long walks through the verdant jungle, their laughter mingling with the rustle of leaves overhead. And as their bond deepened, so did their passion. Until one fateful night, they surrendered to the fierce desire that burned within them. And as the days turned into weeks and months, Nkiru's bond with ODACHE deepened, their connection growing stronger with each passing moment. Despite the whispers that surrounded him and the enigmatic aura that seemed to surround his every moment, Nkiru remained steadfast in her love for him. One warm afternoon, as Nkiru and ODACHE wandered hand in hand through the verdant jungle, they stumbled upon a quiet clearing, bathed in golden sunlight. With a contented sigh, Nkiru settled herself onto a mossy rock, the gentle hum of the forest enveloping her in a cocoon of peace. As ODACHE watched her, a sense of longing stirred within him, a primal urge that he could scarcely contain. The tender smiled. He approached Nkiru, his gaze locking with hers in silent communication. And then, in a moment of raw vulnerability, he revealed the truth that lay hidden within his human facade. "I am not entirely what I appear to be, Nkiru," ODACHE confessed, his voice soft and low. "I am a serpent, born of the jungle, and bound to its ancient realms." At first, Nkiru could hardly believe her ears, her mind reeling at the revelation that her beloved was not wholly human. But as she gazed into ODACHE's eyes, she saw the truth reflected in their depths, the truth of his otherworldly origins, and the depth of his love for her. Though Nkiru's heart was filled with so much emotions, one thing remained unwavering: her love for ODACHE. And so, with a courage born of love, she reached out to him, her fingers tracing the contours of his face with gentle reverence. "Your true form matters not to me, ODACHE," Nkiru declared, her voice ringing with conviction. "For it is your heart that I have come to cherish above all." And at this time, Nkiru was already 5 months pregnant with ODACHE's child. As the days passed and their love deepened, Nkiru found herself summoned by a burning curiosity. A curiosity born of a desire to know every facet of the man she had come to love with all her heart. And so one evening, as they sat beneath the star-strewn canopy of the jungle, she broached the subject that had been weighing heavily on her mind. "ODACHE," Nkiru began, her voice tingled with uncertainty, "will you show me your true form?" At her request, ODACHE hesitated, his gaze flickering with a mixture of apprehension and longing. But as he looked into Nkiru's eyes, he saw the depth of her love reflected there, the love that had bound them together through every trial and tribulation. With a silent nod, ODACHE closed his eyes and surrendered to the ancient magic that coursed through his veins. And in a breathtaking transformation, his human guise melted away, revealing the sleek and sinuous form of a serpent. A serpent whose scales shimmered like molten gold in the moonlight. But instead of recoiling in fear, Nkiru reached out to ODACHE, her hands tracing the graceful curves of his serpentine body with gentle touches. And as their eyes met in silent understanding, a sense of peace washed over them both. In that moment of shared vulnerability, Nkiru and ODACHE embraced as lovers, their bodies entwined in a passionate embrace that transcended the boundaries of human and serpent. And as they made love beneath the canopy of stars, they surrendered themselves wholly to the primal realm of their desires. From that day forth, ODACHE could no longer completely return into his human form, even when he tried severally. He cried at the thought of losing his lover and could not bear to part from Nkiru's side. His love for her binding him to her in ways he could scarcely comprehend. Though he longed to return to the village with her, he knew that it was a risk he could not afford to take, not when their love had been discovered by the prying eyes of the outside world. Instead, Nkiru would come to him each day, her presence a balm to his soul, as they awaited the arrival of their child, a child born of their forbidden love, a child destined to bridge the gap between two worlds. But fate has a way of intervening when least expected, and one day, a tapper who had been collecting sap from a distant tree caught sight of Nkiru and ODACHE in their intimate embrace. With a sense of urgency, he raced back to the village to report what he had witnessed to the king. Upon hearing the tapper's tale, the king wasted no time in summoning his warriors, sending them back into the jungle to investigate the truth of the matter. And as they approached the secluded clearing where Nkiru and ODACHE lay intertwined in each other's arms, they beheld a sight that filled them with awe and dread. For there, in the embrace of her lover, stood Nkiru, a vision of beauty with eyes that sparkled like the stars above. Her lover ODACHE, in transformed into a creature of both man and serpent. And as the warriors watched in stunned silence, they realized that they stood in the presence of a love that defied all reasons, a love that would change the course of their world forever. As the months passed, her belly swelled with life, and whispers of prophecy filled the air. For it was said that the child of ODACHE and Nkiru possessed the power to bridge the gap between the human world and the realm of the serpents. When the time came for Nkiru to give birth, the entire village gathered around, their hearts brimming with anticipation, and as the cries of labor echoed through the night, a miracle unfolded between their eyes. From Nkiru's womb emerged a child unlike any other, a creature of both flesh and scales, with eyes that shimmered like pools of liquid gold. They named him Ekon, a child of two worlds, destined to walk the line between man and serpent. So that's it, guys, for today. We are so sorry for the glitch in the story. We hope to bring you a great part 2 of this story. The story of Ekon, the child of two worlds, destined to walk the line between man and serpent. Rumor has it that as he grew, so too did his powers. So watch out for the part 2. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and give us a thumbs up. Bye!